Hello, everybody. Welcome along to Sportsbet TV. This is Paul Alster with you, and I have a couple of selections for you on this free service here on YouTube at Sportsbet, and I'm looking forward to some really good racing on Saturday, 7th of October at Ascot. So I hope that you'll be taking a look through those races with me, and then you'll be able to draw your own conclusions as to whether or not you agree with me or not. If you're discovering this free service for the first time, then please press the subscribe button just below this screen, and you'll be able to be kept in touch with all my free selections at every weekend, and also at the big festival meetings as well. Well, what I would say is that with the warm weather that has been forecast, this sort of balmy Indian summer that is expected over the south, and maybe even up here in the north this weekend, although you wouldn't know it to look out the window at the moment, it's lashing down. There's every chance that the going at Ascot will dry out from the current good to soft in places to at least good ground. So I've based my reckoning on it being good ground at worst, and I think that's not going to be far from the mark. Now, my first selection for you is in the 3:35 race at Ascot. Now, this is one of those 7 furlong handicaps that we see throughout the season. 18 runners going on the good ground, and loads of horses that we've seen time and again, and trying to untangle all these form lines between horses that have met many times, many of them at this very track and over this distance during the season. It's no easy matter, but I've had a look through, and there is one horse I think has a big chance of getting its head in front. What I would say is that Barnaviddaun, Quinault, and Biggles, they've all been in really fine form of late. They've each won their latest start. Barnaviddaun also won on his previous start over this course and distance. He's been enjoying a purple patch, but he's gone up £9 in total altogether. Now, that doesn't rule Barnaviddaun out of winning again, but I think it makes his life a little bit tougher now. We've got Quinault, who beat Popmaster, who also goes here, over course and distance last time, and he's gone up £5. And Popmaster, of course, has followed up with a narrow with a victory at Newbury on soft ground in a listed race last time out. So he's clearly in great heart, is Popmaster. He's gone up, he's got a £6 penalty actually for that win on the soft. Whether he's quite as effective on the better surface, I'm not sure, but he has run well on good or even good to firm in the past. But I think ideally he does like a bit of cut. Now, there are a host of other horses that you can give chances to in this hot handicap. They include the Sandown winner May Wake, who I gave quite a lot of consideration to, the Richard Fahey horse, who was a non-runner the other week, and they waited for this. And the Newbury winner Pearl d'Or, another one amongst them. And you can never rule out such as the course specialist Fresh. He's been going pretty well of late too. And there are others such as recent winners Ross Collin and Ropey Guest. Ropey Guest, of course, finally got his head in front for a big prize at York on his penultimate start. But coming to the selection, this choice here is the James Fanshawe trained Hickory, trained by James Fanshawe, affectionately known as the Skeleton, and ridden by Benoit de la Salle, who of course was last season's champion apprentice and is a very fine young rider. Now, Hickory is £7 better off with Barnaviddaun for a half-length defeat over course and distance in July. And he's £12 better off with Quinault for just being 2 lengths behind that horse last time. So the weights really, I believe, favour Hickory quite considerably. Now, I do think that Hickory has a race such as this in him, and I think he also remains feasibly handicapped off his mark, current mark of 89. Now, the question mark is his draw. He's drawn low in stall 2, which we don't know if it's a positive or a negative, but what I would say is that another prominent racer in the field is Quinault, who's one of the favourites here. He's going to be absolutely blazing along out in front. That's the way he goes. And I think that could really allow Hickory to get into a nice rhythm. And then hopefully when Quinault starts to fade, if and when he starts to fade, then Hickory will be the one picking him up amongst the horses drawn low and coming away. Whether that's going to be enough to win across the course, if they separate, I don't know. If they stay in one group, I think we've got a big chance, probably even better chance. So we'll have to wait and see. And at the time of this message, odds of 10-1 are available for 5 places for Hickory with William Hills, Bet365, Coral and Ladbrokes. And I expect Hickory to run a very big race indeed. So that is Hickory, who is my first of my two selections. Now, I'm sure that those of you that follow me regularly will know that I also have a subscription service at Out in Front that ended our first year, which ended on the 30th of September at Out in Front. It ended with a profit overall to recommended stakes of £316. Now, that was despite having plenty of ups and downs in a season where the ground has been so unpredictable, and there's been a lot of small fields which have made finding really big price runners quite challenging. But Out in Front has already made a great start to our year two, starting on October the 1st. And indeed, today, Friday, I'm recording this at 6 o'clock on Friday. Well, just over an hour ago, my one selection for Out in Front on Friday was a horse called Ocean Line, my only selection of midweek, and it's won at 28 to 1. I wish so many of you had been on it. I'm happy to say that all my Out in Front subscribers will have made plenty of money. If you're interested in backing 28 to 1 winners and others even bigger during the course of the season where there'll be ups and downs, but you know that so far I have not failed, I haven't missed out on showing a profit on either seasonal or annual tipping since I started presenting back in July of 2020. It costs £25 a month, and Out in Front, I give weekend tips for all the big meetings. I'm with you at all the big festivals extensively, and I also give a few tips as well during the week when there are horses that I fancy, like Ocean Line, that's just one for David Pipe over at Ascot at 28s. So you can check out joining Ocean Line with no lock-in period. You can leave whenever you want if you feel it's not for you. You can check the link just below this screen in the description box. I'm taking you on now to my second selection on Saturday here, free at Sportsbet. It's the Ascot 410. The October Stakes is a listed race over 7 furlongs. The good ground is anticipated and there are 10 runners. And as so often in these listed races, which are what we call black type races, there are a lot of horses running to try and gain black type by finishing in a place, because fillies with black type, it means they're worth a great deal more when they go through the sales ring, or indeed when they produce offspring. They're able to get a higher price for them in the sales ring. But one that's already shown plenty of good form at this level and higher is Breege, trained by John Quinn. She was second at both Royal Ascot and Glorious Goodwood this season. Again, ran with a lot of credit when fourth to Chindit in a hot listed event last time out. I think the drying ground anticipated at Ascot will be a positive for Breege, who's likely to start favourite, showing at around 9 to 4 at the time of this recording. I don't think, though, that is great value. The top-rated horse, actually rated a pound higher than Breege, is Nigiri for Rafe Beckett, who has improved fast this summer. It's landed a hat-trick in handicaps prior to taking another really big step forward when second in a Group 3 behind Matilda Picot at Doncaster 3 weeks ago. And the good thing about Nigiri is she's quite a versatile filly. She goes on any ground. She seems to be holding her form, but she has had a lot of hard races this season, and well, we'll have to see whether or not those races have taken their toll on her, as horses can go in their coat, as we say, start to lose their summer coat and change to a winter coat. And those type of fillies in particular tend to lose their form very quickly. So a paddock inspection, if you get to see this one on the telly, on the monitor beforehand, can often be worth noting. Now, the third favourite is William Haggas's second in a listed event at Chelmsford. She is pretty useful. And earlier in the term, she won at the Easter all-weather big festival at Lingfield. She won a £70,000 race there. But despite placing in group company on turf this season, she does seem to be a better horse on an artificial surface, and that's why I think she's probably opposable. Now, the least exposed filly in the race is another one trained by William Haggas called 910s. She won a 6 furlong maiden and a novice in her first 3 starts, and then she ran creditably after a fairly long absence when fourth on a handicap debut at Doncaster 3 weeks ago. Now, of course, after quite an absence, she was entitled to need that run, so she might have improved. But on the bare figures as they stand, on the conditions of this race, she does have quite a bit to find with both Breege and Nigiri, so I think she'll have to step up to figure. And that brings me now onto my selection, and I think that at the forecast prices, I believe there's each way value here in the Roger Varian trained Salsabila. Salsabila, the winner of a Beverley 7.5 furlong novice race on a second outing last term before she ran fourth in a Group 2 at Doncaster at the time after just over 12 months ago. Now, she did go on to have a very, very long break of 9 months before she reappeared at Royal Ascot in the Sandringham Stakes, where she ran very well for a long way, and she just blew up really inside the final furlong, eventually fading, but not beaten far when 11th of 29 runners. She was also drawn on the wrong side, and she ran very well in her group on the wrong side. Time after that, Seeliway just didn't get a run at Sandown. She was blocked a couple of times in the listed Coral Distaff, but last time out, and she was a really solid third in what looked a decent race at Longshot in Paris, over a mile in listed company at the end of August. I think she's going to be better at the 7 furlongs of Saturday's race. I think that's ideal for Seeliway, and granted a clear run this time, I think she can serve it up to the market principles, and I think she'll give you a very good run for your money. She's 7-1 each way at the time of this recording with Paddy Power, the Betfair Sportsbook, and with Star Sports. So those are my 2 selections for you here at Sportsbet, and let's hope they run really well. As I say, if you do want to join out in front, you can join today and you'll get these selections, 4 of them, across the card in Britain and Ireland on Saturday, and hopefully they'll run as well as the 28-1 winner I tip, my only selection, 4 out in front on Friday. That's it though from me. Whatever you're backing this Saturday, I wish you the very best of luck. Enjoy the Indian summer. We've got to enjoy it while it lasts. And I'll be back same time next week where we've got a fantastic weekend's racing to look forward to. Bye-bye for now.